Welcome. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, this is Crisis169 coming to you with another live video here. I'm here, you're there. Get on to it. This video is not really subscribed by anybody. I was asked by a few people on on Messenger. I'm checking to make sure I didn't get any more messages about the situation here and make sure and check. Um, Asking me about the situation, will I do a video on it or not? Uh, or will I do one? Or what will be the cause of it? My thoughts. Well, one video here it is. Here it is. One question was, do you think this was motivated by sexual harassment allegations or something of that nature? I don't think so. I don't think that was done. Now, next one I got was asked, do you think it got something to do with the Activision buyout and the money they spent or the money they wasted with what this person asked me? That's why I waited until now to make the video. Check my messenger. You guys message me all the time you want to on there, and I'll get to it when I can. A lot better on Messenger than sometimes because I'm on YouTube. I'm watching YouTube. Yes, comments will pop up usually about stupid crap or important stuff, and I try to get to them. But the problem is, I'm usually watching YouTube at work at break, or I'm at home going to bed for work, and I'm usually watching YouTube a little bit, or I'm watching YouTube on my Xbox behind me on my TV, and I don't usually get messages to my TV to come to my phone. So yes, you'll message me, and I'll get a message on my TV saying, "Hey, you got a message." But most cases, I know I don't reply to a lot of them. Not because I don't like you guys or you guys think or suck. No, that's not the case at all. It's because the comment section can be kind of weird. People talk about my weight, talk about other crap, and that's fine. Doesn't bother me. I have thick skin. What bugs me is that the good questions that I get asked get convoluted with the other crap I have to go through. Every YouTuber has people who are just gonna hate them because they hate. Haters are gonna hate regardless of how big or small you are, right? So before I get into the subject of this video, and I read you guys two messages for Messenger about the subject. Was it DEI related? I don't think it was. It was something to do with the acquisitions of Activision, and I'm going to add in the failed issues of having Call of Duty. Yes, I'm using my Razer headset because it works better on Helldivers 2 than my Steel Series for some reason. But anyway, though, topic off topic, back on topic now. And do I feel that maybe that issue with the Black Ops 6 and 7 not moving the needle on sales? People just downloaded the game on Game Pass Ultimate, played it, and got rid of it after a month. Tanked the sales, but also tanked um, Game Pass Ultimate. And it could be either one of those. The questions I read to you guys meaning one of them. But the reason why I don't really reply a lot of questions in my comment section, not because I'm afraid or whatever, because I get a lot of stupid questions about me sitting in a chair, how big I am, blah blah blah. And I don't need a Captain Obvious who's sitting at home in his mom's basement telling me I'm fat to know that I'm fat. Okay. Now I lost 12.5 pounds. I feel great. But what I do need is you guys to understand that I don't reply to every comment that comes in. I try to, I'll give a heart emoji if I, look at it, heart emoji, or I'll reply to some questions. I try to apply as much as I can, okay, because that's where the comments are. I'm trying to apply there. I use Messenger as a secondary form because to me it's easier. I look at Messenger all the time. I got family and friends on Messenger. I got friends of mine who only contact me on Messenger. They see my videos. They don't comment my stuff because they don't really know. They aren't really gamers, but they watch my videos when they can. They'll tell me, "Hey, I saw your video," and they'll message me on Messenger. So that's why I use Messenger a lot, Facebook Messenger. Not because I don't like using the comment section in my videos. It's just because I get a lot of stupid comments on my videos, and I don't really pay attention to them, and it drowns out a lot of you guys' good comments. I know about the 5800X 3D coming back, or allegedly, those kind of things. But now, since I dived in that foundation, let's talk about the real meat and potatoes of the video. Let's talk about what happened at Xbox, my thoughts, and why Phill left. We all know that Phil's pushed out. We all know that Phill was saying Phil's probably sitting in his desk or coming in that day, hey, or going driving into work, and the boss like, hey, I need to see you in my office when you get in. Okay, cool. If Phill probably knew, guys. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Phil Spencer is not a stupid person. I think he knew that hey, his no his check marks and his job are being eliminated. The strikes are being done. His years were numbered, months were numbered, his days are numbered. Now his hours are numbered. Now his minutes are numbered, and now seconds are numbered. So I guarantee when he got up that morning, he knew that it was probably going to be the last month he's going to be CEO, or maybe last year or whatever. And I mean, he talked about with his higher ups, hey, I'm retired this year. Like, you know what, you can retire right now, right? And maybe they thought that, but my thoughts on why he retired, and I read the messages uh from S and from F, and I know I don't use it for no real names because I don't use real names on my no, I need real names. Um, because a lot of people don't want their name put on Facebook like that. And if you do, let me know. Hey, you can use my real name, and then I'll use it, or I'll use your tag or whatever. Whatever gamer tag or whatever. So, because my belief is your uh, your anonymity, your uh, anonymousness, it's more important to me than me saying, "Oh yeah, Larry and John and Susie and Samuel and all the people said this, that, and the other." There's a lot of Larry, John, Susie's, and whatnots out there, but let's be honest with ourselves. A lot of people don't want their name mentioned sometimes, right? So if you do, let me know, and I'll just send me a message and hey, you need my name, and I'll use your name, your full name, or your screen name or gamer tag or whatever. But I used abbreviation letters. But they both said to different things. Was it DEI or was it because of the Activision? And I think if you break it down, brass tacks. Okay, if you break it down, brass tacks. If you go back and you look at situation at hand and how it's been dealt with, the acquisition of the buyout of Activision was done in a way that took almost 2 years, 3 years to do. And when it happened, because Activision was going through a lot of problems anyway, sexual harassment scandals, issues like that. They had a lot of problems like that, right? They had a lot of problems like that. And their issues were related because the CEO and his goon squad were a bunch of horn dogs running around and sexually harassing female workers. It's not uncommon. It happens all the time, especially in places like Activision or your Bethesda or your game studios, because mostly gamers are looked at as being men, males, men, not really females. And the females are coming in and now coming into the market, and that's fine, or into the community, and that is fine. Halo 3, prime example. A female Spartan gets killed. She gets her ass spanked. Literally how you hit. You do the hit and move and see the her little person's butt move. That's what they used to do. It's silly, it's stupid, childish, but it's one of those dumb things that you just you don't unsee. You don't unsee the stupid stuff of people doing stuff like that. Okay, you just don't unsee it. You can't. Okay, so that being said, though, that being totally said, the situation at hand here is that When Activision had that issue, they needed to sell somebody, and Microsoft's going to buy them. Microsoft bought them. Now, Microsoft buying them for almost $70 billion. You have to understand, a few years earlier, a year or two earlier, they bought ZeniMax Studios that owns Bethesda, that owns also other things, that own id Software, Doom, Wolfenstein. These are in Oblivion, not Oblivion, but yeah, Oblivion. Games like that. These are these are calculated and cerebral type of moves that with brand name appeal to gamers. Gamers know id Software. They know Wolfenstein. They know Doom. They know Skyrim. They know all these things. Why? They know games like Prey. They know why? Because these games have brand appeal. These games have stuff that bring to the table. And I don't think Prey is part of the part of Microsoft. It could be. And I think it is, but I think it's Bethesda. Yeah, it's Bethesda. So Prey is part of Bethesda that's owned by Microsoft. Great game. You should download it on Game Pass or buy it on Steam. Um, Great game. It's slower paced, but it is fun. Once you get into the higher levels and stuff, though, playing hard difficulties, you have to go, searching for oxygen out in space. It's a very beautiful game. But anyway, though, we got a topic again. The point is, guys, is this. This is my point situation at hand. What happened, why it happened, really, it doesn't really apply to us. Everybody from Dreamcast guy to RGT 285 to everybody, oh my God, Wayne, oh my God, it's terrible. Who cares who's CEO of Xbox? Xbox right now is in, no Xbox is in a enigma type of state right now. They're in an enigma. They're not really committed to gamers or to anything because they pretty much said you can play the game anyway. You can play a game on a computer, you can play a game on TV, you can play a game in your bathroom, in your shower TV, you can play a game on your refrigerator. They're not committed to one thing. And that's where I think Microsoft is probably trying to bring the reins in a little bit. Hopefully, with new CEOs, and hey, we're going to do this, this, and this. Because Sarah Bond left too as well, and maybe she was, with Phill like this probably, because they went out there and they, took a ton of money and they brought, they bought all these studios with both hands, bought them, threw them on the sack, and ran back to Microsoft with them. But yet they hadn't done much with them. So my problem is this: my situation is this. They went out there and they bought things like Walt Disney, like buy everything they can. And now when the games come out, Crackdown 3, for example, State of Decay 2, the games don't look great and they have issues, bugs. Now you have a game like Call of Duty that has brand appeal, well, it used to, and now it's a meme. But back then, Call of Duty was a brand appeal. It still is. And they take Black Ops 6, first ever, gonna be on Game Pass day one. Okay. What happened to the sales when the game in the stores? It nosedived. Why? Because why are you gonna buy a $70 game where you can go a couple clicks on your mouse or your Xbox and download it and play it on and off? People will download Call of Duty, play it for the month, and new content comes out, then back to whatever game they're playing and delete it. Because everything's saved in the cloud anyway, so all your stuff is saved in the cloud. So we can download, re-download, and you don't even have to have it on your game, on your console or SSD anymore or a PC anymore, because all your information is saved on the cloud, especially with the Xbox Game Pass stuff. So essentially, you can download it, re-download all you want, and the stuff will literally be there. So to me personally, Microsoft kind of shot themselves in the foot with this Play Anywhere initiative. I think that and the sales of the Game Pass Ultimate and the Call of Duty debacle on 7 and 6 pretty much, had the crosshairs on Phill and Sarah Bond too. Because Sarah Bond didn't seem stupid. She probably read the room, looked around, so yeah, yeah, it all. Writing's on the wall. I see it. Deuces, everybody. And she pulled the ripcord and bailed, and probably got a pretty good severance package probably for her time in the company, a couple years or whatever how long she's been in there. And both Phil and her just fly off and they'll fly off into the sunset, parachute off in the sunset. Why, the Xbox plane is trying to keep from nosediving into the ground. And the new CEO is coming in trying to figure out how they're going to do this. I think what they need to do, and to get back why Phil left, was I think variations of many things. He'd been there too long. He made a lot of good decisions. He was a lot better. No, he got rid of the paywall finally. Took about almost 20 years to do that. And what made it better for a lot of people was that that Microsoft would take people, fly them out, these Xbox fanboys, and fly them out for breakfast with Phil, and then fly them back. I'm like, you worry about the games and the things you're trying to sell here, okay? But I mean, it's a lot of things in my head. I think Microsoft probably looked at and say this is kind of strange. But the point I'm trying to make is, I'm trying to get to that point. It's just kind of hard because this is a exploding type of you know uh, grenade that's constantly still exploding to most people's minds. Me, I think it's very point A to point Z. Here's my final thought on this before I end the video in a few minutes, maybe about 5 minutes or so. Phil and his team bought a bunch of studios. The return on the studios weren't great. They weren't terrible. But when you cancel Redfall, when you shut down Redfall Studios that created Redfall, and you close these studios down, you get scalebound. You know you kill that game off. You cancel more studios. You lay off thousands and thousands of people. Hey, Killer, what's up, buddy? And you lay off thousands and thousands of employees. You still don't have any games coming out worthwhile playing. And yet you go off and buy Activision, one of the biggest original that came out that was created outside of the Atari 2600. Atari, four programmers, and then brief story, four programmers from Atari wanted credit. CEO said, "No, you're no more." CEO of I think the CEO of that place who worked for Time Warner said, "No, you're no more important than the person who puts the thing together on assembly line." Atari cartridges were just cartridges; they weren't really, they're game packs, and they just put a screw in there, and that's what it was. Um, Very easy up there. Um, but what what made Atari falter was those guys left and created Activision. Activision became exploding in Pitfall and their games, blah blah blah. Now fast forward to Call of Duty time. They're firing all cylinders, of course. The sexual harassment issues and stuff like that, and then they get sold, and then they go, "Hey, we're bidding ourselves $69 billion." Microsoft, it feels like, sold, bam, and they go buy them for 68, 69 billion, $70 billion, and they hook that, and they get the Activision wagon and hook it up to the Xbox wagon that's very, very long now. They have tons and tons of games, game company they own. So now the Xbox train literally is, is going down, going down. So yeah, Activision, get in the back, you want part of Microsoft, get in the back. So they get in there and they're going down the rail, going down the rails there, or wagon, call it. And they have to, okay, we need to figure out how we're going to make money off all this stuff. How do you recoup $70 billion? Oh, I know. Let's say, let's raise the rates of Game Pass Ultimate and raise the price of the consoles because of tariffs or not tariffs or whatever the hell case may be. Insert your BS lie right here, and we'll do all that. Then we'll turn around and raise game prices again 99 days later to $30. where you could still go to GameStop and Walmart and buy the $20 ones for $20 and have the same ones. Have same Game Pass Ultimate features that you know and love for $10 cheaper. I think what Microsoft needs to do, what new CEO needs to do, is backtrack that $30 price tag, bring it back down to $20, get rid of this stupid crap, put games on day one on all pack. If you have the stupid little sale things, the stupid little tiers, put Game Pass Ultimate day one games on every one of them, but make it where if you have standard Game Pass Ultimate, standard Game Pass, you get day one, but you don't get any extra benefits. And so you get standard benefits, standard, to say 2% off, 5% off, whatever games, and all up to the big tier can be almost 20% off. So you give people incentive to increase their, portfolio if they want to increase their tier. I just made that up. It's not hard to make money, folks. You just have to figure out how to make money. Without robbing Peter, without killing Peter and stealing from Paul to go over here and make a profit. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You can find out what people want. If they only have Xbox or they want to play Xbox games on PC, for example, you make it cheaper for them. Now, granted, the PC one is a little couple extra bucks, but it still has day one Game Pass Ultimate games, day one, where the other ones don't. Get rid of all that. Across the board, day one. Cheap tier, mid tier, day one. The difference is the library games are a little smaller, a little bigger, a little bigger than the ultimate, everything. But you all get the same exact day one release. They do that to make the prices cheaper again. Make it okay, fine. This is $30. But with all the day one games coming out, it doesn't matter if you get $30 or the $10 one. Let's say the $10 one doesn't have cloud gaming storage. Whoopie doo. Okay. And let's say you can only play 50 games out of the whole thing. Whatever. And each tier gets extra, extra, and extra. But you get only like 5% discount. But if you go to the ultimate tier, you get 20% discount off all games, all add-ons, DLC, whatever. And percentage points, and your points are increased from say, 1 to 1 to like 5 to 5. Every points you get goes up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 4, call it. So it matches, and you add more to it. That's not hard to do, guys. I just made that up in my head right now. That didn't take a hell of a whole lot of thought process. Drop it down or keep the tier at $30, but make it incentive. Why? $30. Don't make it, well, you get day one games on here only. Make day one games on all of them. Xbox day one exclusives on all tiers day one. But make it where the one tier, low tier, didn't have a lot of good stuff, but it gets day one online. And the best tier gets everything, including better whatever deals. That way, if you have to cut corners and lower down your budget because maybe you have a sick kid or sick family member, or you bury your parents or whatever, and you can't afford that stuff, but you can still get day one releases of Xbox games and have to worry about waiting a year or whatever. That right there will save a lot of problems. But Microsoft wants to go the way of stupidity and waste everybody's time to do all this. That's what they want. That's what they want to do. They want to waste everybody's time and making stupid tiers. And I think Phil Spencer was given the ultimatum: this works or you're out. And obviously it didn't work. It didn't work at all because he's gone. So I think a lot more meets the eye with this. And if I get any more better news, I'll talk about it. But really, this is one done with me. This is kind of one and done. If we find out that him and Sarah Bonner were harassing people sexually or whatever, verbally, then that's some worthy news. Because that's like he was forced out because he made some bad decisions on some games, and Game Pass Ultimate, like, yeah, whatever, it happens all the time. CEOs and companies, these kind of companies, get fired all the time for this kind of stuff. And that ain't nothing new. Stockholders want certain things done, and you don't do them, yeah, you're out, bud. That's not saying that anything is bad with the person. It's just maybe Phill had his time, and he ran his course, and it's no longer feasible for Microsoft to keep him around. Not saying he's a bad person. Just saying it's probably time for him to hit his saddle up and ride off in the sunset, to retirement. So, you know, my hat's off to Phill. Thank you for some good times. It's been awesome, but I don't really care about this topic. I just made a video because people asked me about it in Messenger. I made the topic. I told them I wasn't really going to make a topic on this because it didn't really seem much worthy to me to make a topic on it. It seemed more like an internal struggle between Microsoft and Xbox brand itself, not really worthy of the RG285s and the Dreamcast guys. You know what I mean? I don't think it's worthy of our attention, especially when you got the RAM issues and crap like that still going on. So, well, guys, this is my video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. God bless. Once again, if you're not subscribed, do so already. Go down below, hit subscribe, notification, ring that bell. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.